I'm going to take care of it.
We do need a soundtrack for the security table. Speaking of the security table, welcome, folks, to what appears to be a conversation already in progress. Chris
Always.
Romeo here, joined by Matt Coles, Izar Terendosh. We were discussing the soundtrack to the life of the security professional. We had Paradise City, Guns N' Roses, Welcome to the Jungle, Guns N' Roses. Seems like we have a bit of a pattern here.
And of course, since today is today, it's the Imperial March.
True.
Oh,
yes, it is May the 4th here in the Eastern Hemisphere. Is that where we live, or Western? I don't know.
Somewhere.
Somewhere. So, okay, we can put the Imperial March in there on this. But if we're getting witty about it, I would say another song would be specifically to the security professional would be U2. I still haven't found what I'm looking for.
It's right by the car keys.
As long as it's not, as long as it's not Sunday Bloody Sunday.
That could also be an indication for the security professional of some of our worst days.
I myself am particular to Painted Black by the Stones.
Okay.
I see a red door and I want it painted black.
That's very, very much a security requirements.
Right?
Kind
no
of
colors anymore. I want them to turn black.
Yeah. That was what it was like in the old days. All right. What other? Matt, give me one more song that applies to a double entendre song.
Everdream.
Everdream by who?
Nightwish.
Isn't Nightwish a cologne?
I don't know.
We are missing the one, the only. Where is it? Well, since my baby left me, I found a place to dwell. It's down the end of Lonely Street and Heartbreak.
I mean, sure. Heartbreak Hotel. It's the life of the security professional.
Heartbreak Hotel. That's hilarious.
I feel so lonely. I could die.
Maybe also
we could do a whole episode. We could do a whole episode about applying songs to cybersecurity.
Yeah, Folsom Prison Blues.
Oh yeah.
If you got in real trouble. All right. Well, we should talk about something related to cybersecurity, not just how much we enjoy the music of cybersecurity, which is realizing kind of a weird thing to say.
Oh, wait, there's enjoyment there too?
So we love reports. We're big fans. We don't like writing reports or doing book reports, but we like analyzing other people's reports. And so we had one come across the desk, making us sound like professional journalists. 2026 State of Cybersecurity Report, Bridging the Divide. The preparedness gap between threats and defenses is widening. What does the research say about how to reverse the trend? This is from Ivante, which I don't remember what Ivante does, but they do something.
They do something. They sound familiar.
They do.
Other than writing reports. So they have lots of cool web graphics and stuff and junk.
It's a very pretty report, I have to say.
Yeah, so I had one of my AI friends give me a couple of spicy takes from this report just for us to noodle upon. And so the first one I want to get your thoughts on. They've got this chart in here, threat preparedness analysis, where they're showing the gap between the difference. The gap represents the difference between threat level and preparedness. And they're showing 2026 versus previous years. So 83% of organizations say their security budgets are increasing. Board engagement is up. Leadership support is up. Yet the preparedness gap widened by 10 points anyway. So the spicy take is, where is all the money going? Are we becoming experts at performing security investment while operationalizing none of it?
Is this the security theater all over again?
Oh.
Yeah, I'm going to have to bring it back to my Caesar's approach, the security brutalism. We got all the bling that we wanted across the years. We got all the tools that we wanted across the years. We're not using half of them. I'm not saying we were at work. I mean,
it's a collective, industry-wide we.
The not very royal we. So the point is that we have added a lot of stuff, a lot of uh, tools out there, and a lot of people are just not using them, or not using them to the full extent that they could be used. And I would even go a step further and say that a lot of tools out there, they don't make sense anymore. That there is a lot of stuff out there that has been overridden by events or by reality, and you may not even need that tool that's just churning back there and producing findings that somehow you have to deal with, even if it's to hit ignore. So I don't think that just throwing money and getting more tools is the response.
Well, touch upon that for just a second. The tools are not producing quality outcomes, or the tools are producing still so much outcomes you get drowned. You're drowning in it.
I think it's not okay. I'm just talking about the tools that you probably shouldn't be. Sorry, you needn't be running anymore. It's not that they are producing a lot of stuff that you have to deal with. It's just that with all the changes in technologies and in approaches and all that, there are certain tools there. The names are irrelevant, that still keep churning in the back of your security toolkit and producing results that you should be analyzing, because at the end of the day, you're paying for that and you got functionality and it's plugged in your other stuff.
Can you
But that other tools are getting better.
Can you call out a particular class of tool? I'm not sure what you're talking about here.
Bunch of scanners out there,
like
you know,
SAST, DAST.
Some stuff that in the past we had said is dead and should be dead and might be dead, and it's time to
Izar's trying to
bury
protect
it.
him, trying to protect himself here without.
I'm trying to be nice. It's Monday morning. Come on. And
don't be nice. We're never known for being nice on the security
yeah, I
table.
know, but people have been telling me that I should be nicer. That it would
Well,
make
you know
me
what you
happy.
should tell him to do? You should tell him to shut up.
I did. But then mother said, you know, you don't talk like that to me. But but anyway, so that there is these tools, and I don't know. I have this deep feeling that as Uri said, some of this is just craft. It's just like fluff, and some of it has even turned into attack surface, which is something that the report actually takes into consideration later, saying that hey, you know what? Security tools usually work at higher privileges, and you may have a bunch of blunt tools in your toolkit that are out there and are still running at higher privileges, and now they just turn into more attack surface that is not being managed.
One of the things that I'm staring at this table in the report about the threat preparedness analysis, and I'm thinking, I'm going down this list and I'm going, which of these things existed when I started in security?
All but 3 of them, I think.
I mean, API related vulnerabilities came later because we didn't have. You could argue we didn't have API.
Not at the scale, not at the
in the
not in
early
the way
days.
that this is. Yeah, not the way that tradition now.
Credentials,
AI,
software vulns. We didn't really have supply chain threats because software was still being written off the shelf at that point. When I started, there wasn't. And there were some open source libraries, but it wasn't at the level, obviously, that we are now. But insider threat, phishing, poor encryption, ransomware. Ransomware came a few years into my career. But like most of these things have existed for almost 30 years.
Yeah.
And we haven't really stopped them.
Well, some of these aren't threats also, but that's okay.
But
I mean, poor encryption is not a threat. It's a flaw.
True.
Right. The threat is data theft.
And some of them are not under your control. Supply chain threats. Okay, you can scan and fix until the cows come home, but at the end of the day, you're going to have to use a third party surface.
Well,
you're not going to write everything from zero.
Well, okay, maybe today you can. You can go back to writing everything bespoke.
Right, and Yes and no.
Well, okay,
But
can versus should, right? We've
right,
had this.
true, very
Just because
true.
you can doesn't
Very
mean
true.
you should.
Very true. And when you start dealing with supply chain threats, you're going to start dealing with exceptions. But beyond that, the threat stays the same. The attack surface changes, right? So once upon a time, it was libraries. Then it became packages. Then it became dependencies. And now, if you look at nowadays, hey, your cloud skills are a new supply chain threat.
Yeah. Remember when it was
You're
just
downloading
container?
these pieces of English.
Remember when it's just containers you had to worry about?
But that's the thing. Containers, it was more of an agglomeration of stuff, right? Because you were getting all the third-party stuff, putting it into a neat box, and you would be scanning that neat box. But just to connect to the previous point, then somebody went and owned 3V. So the thing that you're using to scan your containers, all of a sudden, is also a vector of attack. But
all right, that's very recent. I mean, that's within the past year, right?
So, but past month, I think. Right?
Yeah, a couple weeks.
But the point is that some of these threats are going to.
And by the way, it wasn't just Trivy now; it's check marks, I believe, right? Also recently.
Believe so. And
while we're talking.
Speaking of not naming the security partners, but
you did already, so you opened the door.
No. True, yeah. But so I think that what I'm saying is that some of these are going to roll into new forms and new technologies, but that doesn't mean that the old ones are going to go away. It's just going to say that, hey, now there's a market for new scanners and new tools that are going to scan this new flavor of the month of yesterday's threat. So it's even more. It's an even bigger opportunity for tool creep. Type. Ooh, new term.
That's another good song for the
Creep
Cybersecurity Professional mixtape
by Radiohead.
Creep by Radiohead. Because I'm a creep.
As opposed to Tool, the band.
Because I'm a tool creep.
Tool creep. Tool and Radiohead making a combination band.
Tool doing a cover of Creep.
Okay, that
Can
works.
you imagine?
Yeah,
all
but the show has to be by Fish.
That's true. It is a PH. It's Fish with a PH.
Or at least the selling of the tickets has to be by Fish.
That's like a complete double meaning. So the second hot take that I pulled out of here was what we talked about in the previous episode. Just confirms what we concluded there with our brilliant take on human in the loop for agentic. The report found that 77% of cybersecurity professionals express some level of comfort with deploying agentic systems and allowing them to take actions without human review.
I have a bad take on this. Is that because plausible deniability? The tool did it.
Yeah, but somebody pressed enter.
Only once.
Once after another.
Then you put it in a loop, let the tool do its thing.
I would like to.
Oh boy, what is happening?
I would like to introduce you guys to my new keyboard. I just finished it this weekend. It has exactly 2 buttons.
Wait, what are the? You want to move in the camera?
Buttons.
It's a red one and a black one. Okay, so the black one is enter, the red one is escape. This keyboard is an agentic keyboard. It's all you need to actually interface with your agent. Right?
Okay.
And the fun thing is it works. So the fatigue is true, but also the responsibility transfer, as Matt said. The moment that I type enter, it means that I did a cursory review on what my agent plans to do, and I am totally fine with it going and doing it. Wherever the chips may fall. as they say. Now, one thing that I haven't yet come to complete terms is the what's it called? The autonomous agents. And this feeling by some people that they are bound to become insider threats. I mean, I get it that some people are writing their own agents and giving them, like, I don't know, their own all out and when I say the authors all out keys to go and interact with all kinds of systems, and then they walk away from the keyboard and the agent does its thing. And it's like, oh, it's like I'm sitting on the keyboard and I'm doing my thing, but actually I'm on the deck watching the clouds. And a lot of people keep telling me that this is the new insider threat frontier. And I don't know, I'm of two minds there. That yeah, I see it coming. I see the possibility, but then I think from a security professional point of view, what are the things that I would like to happen before that actually happens? And for sure, identity management is one thing, but who's to say that that's going to be followed and it's going to be enforced and whatnot? And again, I see a lot of tools promising, oh, we're going to find all your agents and we are going to hold them accountable and whatnot. But I don't see it happening.
This whole notion of shadow AI.
If the agent is supposed to mimic the user and it does it well, then is it really shadow AI? Like, how are you going to distinguish between a user doing something and the agent doing something on behalf of the user? You're going to look at efficiency. Oh, that session is, is much more efficient, so it must be an agent.
It must be an agent.
Like,
Bob doesn't usually work through lunch.
Yeah.
Well, so you could look at it as it's automation, right? I mean, we developers have written scripts for ages and have it do things on their behalf.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
if the agent does it well and doesn't do anything unexpected, I guess, well, maybe it's all unexpected, but within bounds, is that a problem? Probably not. But now we're talking something completely different, right? We're not talking, well, which I guess, are you talking insider threat because there's somebody's job is being taken by the automation? Meaning they're deferring, their brain power is now the tool.
No, I think that it's more of an insider threat because it could theoretically be corrupted way easier than a user. Like, let's put it like this: for the past, I don't know how long Chris said, but for the past X tens of years, we have been fighting phishing, right? So we've been training people not to click on suspect links.
Yep.
And those things sometimes they don't come from pattern recognition; they come from here. Look at this thing, read it, understand it,
Use
use
your
your common
intuition, right?
sense, intuition,
Yep.
and don't click on it.
Right. The computer can't do that.
Yes. Although some people say, no, the computer can do that even better because it's doing an unbiased check on the blah, 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 blah. But no, you still have prompt injection. And although I don't think it's a threat, I think it's a very powerful vector to threats, right? And you can influence this agent that's acting on your behalf, I think.
Well, in fact,
Much
that's
more.
a feature in some cases,
Yeah,
right? Like
exactly.
like Clawbot, right? Send an email and
Exactly.
have it do actions for you, right?
That's
But
what
you,
Steve Wilson we did an interview on AppSec podcast where his OpenClaw bot got hacked because the security team started sending emails to it that were from a slightly different domain than the domain that he works for, and it fell
exactly.
for it just like a human would.
And that's actually a very good article. We should reference that at some time. But my point is that the agent becomes the insider threat once we have this illusion that because it's automated, because it has all kinds of guardrails, it's capable to stand attacks that a human wouldn't. When you only have to send a PDF with some crazy text inside it, to have it turn into something completely different that it shouldn't be able to do. So I go back to prompt injection is not the threat, is the vector. The threat is the agentic capabilities that get way too more than they actually should be able
Mm-hmm.
to, right? So again, it's the same threats. It's just the attack surface changed
Well,
as
the
as it
ease of
should.
exploitation has changed. The capability, the human, right? The human may have been an admin, but now the agent is almost certainly more privileged than the human is.
Exactly, because it's trying to mimic something that the human would be able to do. So it has its own administrative capabilities.
So interestingly, I've been thinking about this, that really agents should have their own identity. But maybe what you're saying is if agents are acting on behalf of the human, the agent should impersonate the identity of the human.
That's not what I'm
Because
saying at all.
because
Um,
if the human has limited access capabilities, the agent shouldn't have any more access capabilities.
okay, what I'm saying is actually what you just said the
Maybe
other
they
way.
should be prepared instead of impersonating, but
The way things are today, I've been talking to some people in similar positions as mine. The way that identities for agent is seem to be evolving is that Joe developer wants an agent. Joe developer wants the agent to do the same things that he does. He gives Joe developers OAuth tokens to the agent. All of a sudden, the agent is Joe developer.
that's
Now, for
personation. Yep.
all the monitoring, all the monitoring stuff that we have, we are going to see the agent as Joe developer.
Right. Because it's
What should
impersonating.
happen,
Right.
exactly, what should happen is Joe developer should have a way to register that agent with the organization to say, hey, I have an agent. It does A, B, C, D, E. Give me an identity. And now you can monitor that identity for anything that falls out of the bounds of doing A, B, C, D, E.
But
So now
the
you
agent
have
shouldn't have any
a
more.
way to check what it's doing. But you're right. On a programmatic way, if the agent is trying to mimic what Joe developer is able to do, it shouldn't have any more permissions than what Joe developer is doing. If Joe developer is writing an agent that's going to work as SUSE admin, then yes, it needs the credentials, the level of operation that SUSE admin would have. But that's a different thing. If you give it its own separate identity and you make it known to the security team, hey, these are the boundaries this thing should be operating. It's going to be operating as an admin, but it's only going to do move files from here to here, open ports here, close ports there. Then security can monitor the thing based on expectations. And anything that falls out of that, all of a sudden you don't have to draw this extended behavior profile. Oh, the agent is doing something that we didn't see it do in the past 2 weeks. No, it's only expected to do ABC. It's doing something that doesn't look like ABC. Shoot that thing.
It's interesting. This goes to an interesting point I've been thinking, well, not just thinking about, but talking about proactive versus reactive. If you're monitoring what the agent is doing and looking for bad behavior, sure, you can find it and take action, but you're being reactive. You're reacting to the behavior of the agent, not being proactive and saying, put it in a sandbox, what can it do, and don't let it do anything else. Right. So because I think what you're ultimately highlighting is a challenge that security teams and the security systems themselves, forget the tools, right? That's all reactive stuff. Think about the permission system and how granular or not granular those permissions are, right? When we develop agentic workloads or workflows, and so in order to develop agentic workflows, you have to take the action that a human was doing and break it down into its representative parts, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, You really should be doing that with authentication and authorization systems because it's those individual. Let's go back to capability-based security, right? What capabilities should the agent have, right? So it can't do more than it should be allowed to do. And you won't get it 100% right. You do still need the reactive side, but you can be proactive and not give it full capabilities.
So it is the threat modeling aspect of not giving it too much agency, right? But the point is that when you started talking about this bit, I was thinking, okay, he's going into the human in the loop, human on the loop thing. But no. Actually, I think that what you're highlighting is that nowadays we do have these mechanisms of runtime observability where you can see what your thing is doing, but we've been looking at it from the point of view of performance. Oh my God,
or
my
token
daemon is going
usage or whatever.
crazy and
Yeah.
and resource. No, not even before we get to the AI bit. We have had this observability capabilities for a long time now, and people are used to using them. But from a monitoring point of view of bandwidth usage, storage usage, this thing is running away. It's on a dead loop. I don't know what is happening. But you have those ways of looking inside something that's running and saying it's acting it's acting well, it's acting bad. Now we can turn those things into agentic capabilities and start saying, I'm not only observing, but I have these hard guardrails that these are the agency guardrails that I'm giving to my agent. I don't expect it to do anything but these things or inside these areas. And then alert for anything that happens outside of that. Right?
You know, so, this is a system like what Android implemented with intents, right? You have an application that has certain intents. Now, those intents are they're sort of what are they? There's I'm trying to remember the quote from the. I'm trying to remember the quote from Pirates of the Caribbean. They're more like guidelines, really.
Yeah, I think that they were more of an advice of how you're going to use it, and there was a cascading system in there saying that if you don't have any intent
Stick to the code.
captures this specific thing, then fall into this generic case of, I don't know, opening a browser or whatever, right? So it's exactly that. It's the cascading expectations that you have of some kind of system that's running and how it's going to deal with exceptions. And what I'm saying is we shouldn't have agents deal with exceptions. Exceptions should be automatic. I give up. I don't know what to do with this. And then you treat it on the monitoring side by saying, hey, my agent got something that it doesn't know what to do with. Let me go and look at it. And this is not human on the loop. So this is actually a responsible approach to the agency of the thing that you just wrote.
So is that what, in effect, is that what NVIDIA built with OpenShell? In other words, the agent framework or agent harness is able to do the enforcement and keep the AI within bounds.
Looked at that. So tell us a bit about it.
I only know a little bit. I've only just started to research it, but OpenShell, I think, is a controlled sandbox environment for agents. Well, specifically for things like OpenClaw, right? So that it can only do. I have a sense, although I don't know for sure, so don't quote me on this, that it functions in part like a jail, like a true jail or something, or just a jail in BSD, or like a. I'm trying to think now. It's it gives a container for the agent to run in with only what it's been granted access to. But I don't think it's not like the agent itself has been privileged. It's that the environment that the agent operates in has been privileged.
So here's an anecdote. I think that I even mentioned this in the past episode, but for some reason I had to play with a Claude co-work. Don't ask why. And I wanted to be very, very, very careful with
Had to?
Yes. So I used my gaming box to play with. It's the only thing in the house that I have that runs Windows. And and I decided to go one step further and give it a USB key to work with. I wanted it not to write or read anything on my disk. I said, hey, your playground is this USB key. And assumption, nothing but an assumption. I think that Microsoft must, Anthropic must have done something in there. And the thing thought that it was being successful in writing files to the USB key, but in reality, it wasn't. So at some point, I had to screenshot the freaking file manager and say, no, the files you are telling me are in this key are not there. And yes, I flushed the memory and I checked that there wasn't anything pending and all that good
No
stuff.
hidden files.
But that's not the point. The point is that at some, like after 3 bounds of the files are there, no, the files are not there. I started.
Did it say, oh, you're totally right. Their files are.
At some point, I think it did. But the point is that it started trying ways of writing those files that to me looked very much like what I would do if I was trying to escape a jail. So it started writing Python scripts that were encoding the contents of the file as base64 and trying to write it to a terminal that would then copy it, like copy from the terminal into the file, right? And A, it was fascinating. No. B, it very much gave me the feeling, the impression of something that very much wanted to escape the boundaries that it was put into. It didn't make a consideration of, hey, perhaps I shouldn't be trying to write on that directory. Perhaps you should give me a different directory to write to. That never came up.
Because of the training bias, right?
It went single-handedly towards the mission that I gave it, which was write these files in this directory.
It wants to appease you. That's its training bias. It wants to be successful to what you're asking it to do, right? Now, interestingly, because you're on Windows, I wonder if you checked alternate data streams, ADS or what's the other technology there that Windows supports for having multiple paths to the same file. It may have written, it just wasn't visible. Use your forensics knowledge and see if it's still there.
I was very
maybe I wrote to the block device and didn't write to the file
at some
system.
point I was very afraid at some point that it was going to start thinking about downloading a compiler and just trying to write its own binary and try to go through memory.
You
and
gave
IPC
it access
and
to the internet and the USB key.
It's Claude co-work. You have to give it the tools that it needs to do your work, right?
I did read over the weekend that somebody connected a local LLM to Claude, and it worked. So
to Claude Code.
To Claude Code, yeah.
Yeah. No, you can run
or Claude co-work, whatever.
It's not only Claude work. It's I think most of the popular harnesses. You can, for example, run Olama Claude blah 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 name of the model, and it will start Claude talking to that model on Olama. So it's going to download the model, it's going to bring it up, and it's going to run Claude talking to it. It's actually very fun. I have it on the RPI here with Gemma 4. And if you have patience, it's actually
because you run it on a Raspberry Pi.
Yeah,
yeah, patience.
I have an RPI 5 in here, but
might as well upgrade to a Beagle board at this point. Come on,
it's like talking to a slot. It's.
Well, I want to bring us back to this report for one more statistic because I think this is an interesting one for us to confirm or deny. And so what Avante found, 43%, and I looked down further, they surveyed like 1,215 people. So we're talking about, 500 people or so from those surveyed. 43% amongst security pros surveyed report high levels of stress due to their jobs.
Only?
I don't know what they're talking about.
Only 43%? Whatever happened to it's all bad all the time, 98% of cybersecurity professionals being stressed.
So you're arguing that this is an improvement?
It sounds like
past year.
it sounds like 50, it sounds like half of the security people have suddenly found bliss.
No. Half of the security people just had heart attacks and don't count anymore. But I have been thinking about retiring as the IT manager of a Zen monastery. But I think that even that would be a bit too stressful. No, look, I think that we spoke about burnout in the past.
Yeah.
The good thing about now is that now you have this whole surface that you can use to bitch about being burned out. And so far, it's even if you use a local model, it's not going to talk about it to other people.
Oh, you're
So
talking about
that's-
using a model or a LLM as a therapist, is what you're
Yes,
describing.
not as a therapist. No, don't go there. Very dangerous territory. Do not go there. Kids, do not try this at home or anywhere else.
True.
But it's a great place to commiserate.
So wait, the model commiserates with you?
It always wants to appease you. That's its
Mhm.
training bias.
Mhm.
True, which is annoying.
When you want to commiserate, it's great.
So if you want a friend, always say yes.
So
No,
another
it-
song for the security mixtape. You've
Yes.
got a friend in me.
As opposed to
It's,
I got you, babe.
That's weird now. All right, you crossed the line. Crossed a line. Do not
It's
refer
more
to your
like,
LLM as babe.
It's more like a bridge over very, very, very troubled water.
This is a heck of a soundtrack.
Or
coming
Sweet
together,
Child
by
of
the way.
Mine.
Sounds of
Child
silence.
Mine.
Getting back to
Sounds
Guns
of
N' Roses.
silence.
Everything returns to Guns N' Roses, is what I'm learning. They're part of the fabric of the universe, holding this whole thing together.
Yeah.
So stress.
Or for the
So Matt
or
thinks-
for the stress case, jump.
Okay, that was
Might
not
as well.
appropriate at all. Not appropriate at all. Not appropriate at all.
No. We do not
No,
condone
very
that
bad.
kind, that
Don't
kind
try
of
this at home,
behavior
kids.
here.
Don't
No,
try this
no.
at home. Don't try this
No.
at home. So Izar, you agree with this? You think it? Yeah, you with Matt? You think it's actually better now than it used to be if we're at 43%, or
No. I don't. I think that we worked so long about hardening systems, we forgot to a certain extent, harden people. And now we are dealing with the burnout and mental health debt that we built over the last 30 or so years.
I mean, the report says 43% report high levels of stress. So
Yeah.
probably everyone is stressed. Some people feel it more.
I mean, you just have to go to an OWASP event and see the line for coffee.
No, that's a misleading. That's causality versus causation, or correlation versus causation. You have.
I don't know. I look at the line.
You're at a conference and people are sleep deprived. That doesn't mean they're stressed from their job.
I look at the line for coffee on an OWASP event, and it reminds me of string theory, because everything is vibrating, and that creates the fabric of the universe. Everybody is vibrating. Did you hear about the last one? No. Did you? No, I
imagine
was the last one.
if you had little devices that could capture kinetic energy to electricity, and you could beam it, like you could power by conference alone.
Oh, you could power the conference. Easy. Totally easy.
This has really taken a number of left turns.
Well, then eventually we'll get it right.
Somehow we've landed on powering conferences. I don't know if you've ever seen Monsters, Inc. with the scream.
Oh yeah, with the screams.
Like,
but wait, I'm gonna go one further. What could power a data center better? The vibrations of an OWASP conference or RSA? Now remember, there is an alternative here. Burning shit is also a form of energy production. So the vibrations of OWASP conference or burning the bullshit of an RSA conference. But
Well,
wait, there's more.
Oh,
Oh
God.
boy. That was
The NOS conference, the RSA conference, or the power sending spam after an RSA conference.
now that's a huge amount of resources that are applied.
If you could unleash that amount of power in one single blast, I think it would be more powerful than the Death Star.
Well, you know what it is? It's somebody at RSA who realizes that they haven't used their token budget for the month and they just need to burn it all at once.
Ooh,
It always comes back to the token budget.
It does.
agentic simply.
That's what I hear. All right. Well, I think this is enough.
May the force
Something.
be
I
with
don't
you.
really know how to describe what just happened.
Energy,
But
a lot of energy.
a lot of energy was expended.
And breathe and seen.
Data lights,
And seen.
blinky lights were flashing in data centers around the globe. Tokens were consumed. And the security table, the original security table, that also has a really cool keyboard. So I bet you
Two
there's
key
not
keyboards
I bet you there's not
available
another
in our
merch store.
In our merch store. You
We only
too
have-
can have.
Yeah,
an
but we
agentic
only have
keyboard.
one, so it costs $4 million, that keyboard. So
Yeah, I'm gonna sign on the bottom.
then it's
So
worth
gonna, yeah.
less if you sign it. So please don't sign it.
And make a book.
But I guess I will say adieu to
Adieu?
our audience.
Much ado
out
about
there.
nothing.
This has been an episode of the original Security Table.